Welcome to FOB TV, the future of business. I'm your host, Kevin Benedict. I'm a futurist and partner here at TCS, and I want to thank each of you for being here today. Our guest, I'm really excited to introduce him, is Tom Thiemow. And Tom is the CEO of authid.ai. It's a human factor authentication company. Tom will tell us all about that. Tom, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, Kevin. It's always great to speak with you about emerging technologies.
So where are you calling in from today?
We are at the Money 2020 event in Las Vegas, Nevada, where we unveiled our human factor authentication solution, which is Verified 3.0, our third version of software attacking this very, very important problem that we all face.
So we talk a lot about the future here on this program, of course, and tell me how that's going to help the future.
Absolutely. So if you're familiar with the concept of multi-factor authentication, we know there are basically three factors to determining, authenticating that a person is who they're representing themselves to be. The first factor is something you know. That's typically a password. And passwords today account for 82% of all data breaches and nearly 90% of all identity fraud. And that's just a disastrous problem. But that's the first of the multi-factors, something you know. Another area would be KBA, knowledge-based authentication, answering questions about your history, what street you lived on, your mother's maiden name, so on and so forth. The second of the three multi-factors is something you have. That is almost always device, where a software token could have been placed, something that identifies that Kevin's mobile device is present. Therefore, I can probably assume that it's Kevin. And finally, the third of the three multi-factors is something you are. And that clearly is a biometric. That could be a thumbprint, that could be your eye, that could be your face. And this is by far the pure and unique, but also at times the most interruptive of our daily lives, whether it's how we work or how we consume. So those are the three factors. And authID is moving to eliminate passwords by moving the first factor from something you know, a password, to something you have, which is a passkey on your phone, a token that basically says, here's your phone, and moving the second factor that today is primarily a PIN code, a 6-digit number we've all had texted to our phone and we all hate, to a biometric, a facial biometric that uniquely identifies you from the other 8 billion people on this planet. That give a little bit of a tour of, and clearly that move to human factor authentication, where the human and the device they're carrying is the way you access accounts, not a password that you've allowed to be used across 100 different sites and haven't changed in 7 years.
So, Tom, in preparation for this call today, I counted my passwords that I keep track of. 114.
How many?
114.
And they're all different? You have 114 different passwords.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, you're impressive.
But I don't.
You've got a password manager, I assume.
Yes, I have to have an encrypted vault with them so I can get in and check them. So there's a lot of companies that are working in this space, I imagine. Now, I've known you for a long time, Tom. You've led some incredible organizations, and this is your newest company here. Talk to me about it. Why did you choose authID?
Well, my last company, Socure, which is the leader in identity verification at origination. So the very first time you hold up your hand and say, hey, I want that new credit card, you come out of the wild and somebody's got to determine who you are. A brilliant data scientist there by the name of Pablo Abreu invented this system that basically identifies who you are using just the data surrounding you. And it's unbelievably successful. But as Trip's a CTO I've worked with in the past, as we looked at the market, we wanted to be in identity and authentication in particular, because of the recurring nature of the business. The problem when you're determining someone's identity at origination is it happens once, It happens episodically. It's very hard to predict, and it's very hard for your client to forecast how much they're going to have in expense. It's hard for the P&L owner to predict what the revenues of the company are going to be or the margins are going to be. So we clearly wanted to go after a recurring business model. And you verify once at origination, but you authenticate over and over and over again, or as long as it's a smooth and easy system for the consumer or the employee to use, they keep using it. And that creates a steady basis for a subscription revenue model, which is both very easy for our clients to forecast their spend with us and for us to forecast what our revenues are. So we were as attracted by the recurring nature of the business as we were by the unique IP that we have around the combination of a FIDO passkey and a facial biometric.
So tell me how big the market is for authentication.
Authentication is a huge market. We authenticate every single day. There are a number of surveys that put it anywhere up between $50 and $100 billion market. It's one of the most important aspects of life, right? Authenticating who you are before you make a purchase, before you wire money, before you log into your Office 365. We've got to make sure that we know the person behind the device is who they are representing themselves to be. And that is the core of authentication, and having more than one way to tell if Kevin is Kevin before we allow Kevin to log in, whether he's on a bank website wiring money or he's accessing company secrets in Office 365.
So Tom, this problem has been around since the inception of the internet. So why is it taking this long? This is a big friction point for everyone. We all go through it every day. So why is it taking this long?
Behavior. People are just used to it. Your Chrome browser stores your passwords. You don't think much about it. You don't think about it until your identity has been stolen, or you don't think about it until your data has been breached. I mean, typically the password is the weakest link. And what happens is someone gets access to an account. They immediately change the mobile contact number, the email potentially, so that then they can apply their device so that they can take over your account. And your account could be your Office account, Office 365, or dozens of other different Office applications. Or it could be your bank account. It could be your healthcare records. These are all very, very important things. But human nature says, hey, that password stored up in that browser, I just open it up and it works. I don't want to have to change that. What do you mean I got to take a selfie? So humans are hard creatures to get to do different things, even if the different thing gets rid of something very annoying, password, or gets something that's very dangerous, which is a password. So it's taken longer than we thought, but you're starting to see more and more companies embracing going passwordless. And our message is, as you go passwordless, you also need to think about how are you going to step up in that situation where you're wiring a lot of money, you're accessing something particularly privileged, or the risk engine is saying, I'm not really sure this is Kevin. We need to make sure. And what we're saying is, as you go passwordless, you also have to think about the human that's behind the device, not just the device.
So when we look ahead to the future with just the path of digital transformation and the journey it seems like we're all on, Web 3.0 is coming up, metaverse potentially, is this problem set to grow exponentially? And will this solution just be more valuable because of that?
It absolutely will. I mean, the ways that we access our accounts are constantly changing. But the thing that doesn't change is ourselves, the human side of us, both in the fact that humans make mistakes. They go in and click on phishable emails that they shouldn't, or text messages that are sent to their phone. But human spaces, I might lose a few pounds, gain a few pounds, add a little facial hair, lose a little hair, but fundamentally I'm the same person. So we really need to start using the first factor, something we carry with us everywhere we go. There's almost no place you go now without your cell phone, but also that cell phone can be compromised. So making absolutely sure that the person that's holding the device is the person that they're representing themselves to be. And as we go to the metaverse and we're wearing our goggles and we're, flying across the world, we still need to be authenticated for the many things that we want to do while we're in the metaverse, while we're on the internet, wherever we are. And the combination of the device we are using and our face are the two most secure ways that we can make sure everybody's who they represent themselves to be.
I have the opportunity of working here at TCS in the team that's called the Future of Business team. And one of the things that seems like the C-suite is asking us regularly now is about business models. They're looking at how business models are changing from individual companies that try to do everything themselves to these big networks of ecosystems, if you would, with different partners and participants and enabling partners and all kinds of things, all working together to create new and unique value propositions. In that world of ecosystems, where there could be thousands of companies working together to provide particular services, where do you see the value of this kind of authentication?
Well, first off, this is the front door. It's the front door to how you access your work environment, how you access the consumer environment. And it really matters that we make it extremely easy for companies to adopt our technology. And that's as simple as a couple lines of code in a REST API. It's as simple as an ODIBC connection to another internet application that might be your single sign-on, like an Okta or an Auth0. It might be your privileged access manager, like a CyberArk. It might be your mobile device management system on a cell phone from a Verizon or other mobile carrier. All of this needs to be interoperable so that everywhere you go, you can use a FIDO passwordless passkey or a token on your device to always recognize, okay, that device is present. We're pretty sure this is Kevin. Okay, now he's doing something risky or something extremely high value. We made him take a selfie so that we can really make sure who it actually is. And it's up to us to make sure whether you're using our SDK, whether you're using our REST API, whether you're using our OIDC component, that we're completely seamlessly integrated.
So you're there at Money 2020. I imagine there's, even though it's kind of down times for cryptocurrency and blockchain and things like that, I still, have to believe that it's going to emerge from its struggles and still have a valuable role in payment processes and all kinds of actually unique areas. In that world of blockchain, distributed ledger technology, cryptocurrency, what role does your authentication technology play?
Well, we play a couple different roles. One, from a crypto perspective, we not only provide the authentication before you transact in crypto or you use one of the many platforms so that you can be authenticated both with your device and, when necessary, as with your face as a human factor as well. But we also create an audit trail. AuthID owns the patents to how you actually embed a biometric into a transaction. So whether that transaction is a credit card transaction, a stock trade, your login history from Office 365, or your purchase of crypto, we can inject the mathematics, the biometric, the mathematics behind your face. Think of it as a topography map illustrated in mathematics. And we can inject that into the history of the transaction so that you can always tell exactly who made that transaction. And if you look at crypto, one of the things that's the greatest fear about crypto is that it's not real easy to audit who owned it, when, who sold it, where, how. All of that data we are able to make part of that transaction, and it becomes a living history of the digital identities that were involved with that.
That will be appreciated from some and not from others, I imagine.
Well, there is, one of the shows they had here at Money 2020 talked all about the dark web, and about 50% of the world's economy is on the dark side. And this is money that's laundered, that's involved in drugs and trafficking and all sorts of horrible things. And it's our job collectively, the more that we shine a light by making you authenticate with your device and with your face for everything you do, whether it's work or business, consumer related, the more we help eliminate all the dark money that's out on the internet. Because if every transaction has a trail, an audit trail that's clear for any authoritative body to be able to tell exactly who moved the money, where, and when, that can go a long way to eliminating some of the dark side of money and the internet.
Wow. So, Tom, when you gather your leadership together with a physical whiteboard or a virtual whiteboard, and you look ahead 10 years, what's it look like for your market?
Well, I think the password will finally be dead. You know, one of the nice things about the FIDO Alliance is Microsoft, Google, Facebook, Apple. They've all come out and said, we are going to embrace a passwordless world. So it's not long before there's no longer a password for Gmail. There's no more password for your iCloud. There's no more password for Office 365. It'll all be a passkey or a token that's put on your phone. And then it will be your face that will allow you to ubiquitously get a new device, access it from your laptop if your cell phone's not there. Go into your local coffee shop where you may or may not have your phone. It recognizes you. You've already consented for your face to be used. You can pay by face everywhere you go. You can access, maybe you need to get into an Office 365 document and all you've got is your kid's Chromebook. Well, there's no software token on your kid's Chromebook, but your face hasn't changed. So there's dozens upon dozens of use cases. The first thing we all have to do is get rid of passwords. They just need to die. And hopefully we can be one of the companies that help makes that happen.
Now, at the very beginning of our discussion today, Tom, you gave me 2 figures. Why don't you repeat those figures of where fraud happens and the problems with humans?
82% of all data breaches are the result of passwords. The result of people that use the same password for their bank account that they use for some silly little game they download off the internet. 82% of all data breaches and 90% of all identity fraud relate back to your password and your authentication into a particular application. And typically, you know, we all think those little 6-digit PIN codes are annoying. They're not only annoying, they're not safe and secure. Password's bad, PIN code's bad, token on the device is good, and a facial biometric is the best. So we need to move the whole world to authenticating with a device and a passkey and the face.
Tom, thanks for stepping away from the show for a few minutes to enlighten the rest of us out here in the virtual world. So I'll let you get back.
Love it.
Thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, Kevin. It's always good to catch up.